It's about 8 o'clock, 8:30 the next morning, back on my bike, and I'm heading in the same direction that I went cycling the other day when I went to the village with the bridges, the old Dutch bridge, and I stopped off at the waterfalls and the river, things like that. But while I was out, I learned about a local waterfall that is quite famous, called Ponot Waterfall, and that's where I'm heading today. And I've got all kinds of technology problems I'm trying to work through, running out of GoPro batteries, and my Rode Wireless Go microphone I thought had been completely destroyed by the heat, humidity, and sweat. So much moisture got into it that it died. But then I did a test yesterday, and it turns out that, yes, the main microphone capsule seems to have been destroyed by the moisture, but I can still plug in a lavalier microphone. So this morning I plugged in a lav mic. So now I have the Rode microphone in my pocket, and I have a cord coming up here to this lav mic on my shirt collar. And I've done that in the past, but not often. So the jury is out how well it's going to work. So there's a lot going on as soon as you step outside. And while I was in my room, I heard very loud hooting. I heard that, I've been hearing that a lot. And I haven't seen the animal making that sound. I have seen some small, like macaques, clambering through the trees here, but I don't think macaques make that sound. I know they don't. So it's some other primate. And I did a little bit of reading online, and it's probably, what I'm hearing is the Siamang gibbon. I think that's what it's called. But anyway, it's a gibbon that has this big pouch under its neck, and it fills the pouch, and then whoo, gives out this whoo, whoo, like real hooting call. And it's very loud and travels very, very far. So I'm pretty sure that's what it is. And the gibbon is not a monkey, it's an ape. So I have to keep that in mind. I like to get my language correct if I can, my facts and my language. So yeah, I think it's a gibbon. I really hope I can finally see one. It looks like an impressive animal. I had plans to be on the road sort of at the crack of dawn to avoid the heat, but lately the skies have been very overcast, so the heat doesn't really hit as hard up here. It's very humid, very muggy. But I don't think it makes much difference whether you're cycling at 6:30 in the morning or 7:30 or 8:30. It's all largely the same, I think. So, and it was raining a little bit, so I decided to just wait until now. And I'm finally on my way. I'm in my happy place, down in first gear, 4 kilometers an hour, going uphill. Just have to keep the same cadence, the same revolutions per minute of your pedals is what I like to do. So whether I'm going uphill or downhill, the rotation of my pedals remains the same. I just change the gears to change the torque required to move me and my bike forward. Well, time to check my audio. I want to see if this lavalier mic, this is one of my cheaper lavalier mics. I didn't want to use my good one because it could also get damaged from sweat or something, but I'd rather damage a cheap lavalier mic, hello, rather than destroy my expensive Rode Wireless Go. Good news, the lavalier mic so far sounds fine. It's exposed here to the wind, but it has a little bit of a wind muff on it. So maybe even going downhill, I won't get much wind noise. I'll find out. Lavalier mics are not designed to be worn while you're cycling. I don't think you're meant to be sitting in a nice, dry, cool, quiet office setting being interviewed. But hey, on Planet Doug, we never do anything the way we're supposed to. I try to do things the right way, but the right way always seems like the wrong way to me. So I always end up doing something different. Right up ahead of me is this other waterfall. I stopped there the other day when I came riding up this way. There's a nice set of benches there. I think I'm going to stop there again, just for a little bit of a rest, reset my cameras, things like that. So there's the waterfall that you see right at the side of the road. I was here resting the other day for a little bit. It's a beautiful spot. Waterfall on one side, right on the road, and you get these nice benches here where you can relax. And you're also right beside the Asahan River. And I didn't notice the other day, but they actually have another one of those cable crossings. Right there, you can see the cables going across the river. And yeah, over there, there's, I don't know what you call them. I keep trying to come up with the right word, like a cart or something with like a trolley, and you pull yourself across the cable to cross the river to go back and forth. Pretty handy. And there's the mighty Asahan River. Yeah, in terms of technology, another victim, not a surprising one, is this piece of junk kickstand. It's just, when I bought this in Malaysia, it was the only one I could find. And right away, as soon as I bought it, I knew it was a piece of junk and it wouldn't work. And it basically doesn't work. Every time you try to put the bike onto this kickstand, this part here just bends, just turns into a pretzel. The whole thing bends and the bike falls over. Yeah, it's I knew that kickstand wouldn't work and it wouldn't last very long, but oh well. Yeah. I couldn't find a better one at the time. There won't be a very clear picture on the GoPro, but ahead of me is my first glimpse of Ponot Waterfall. Very impressive from here. The debate about its height continues. Like I said, DeepSeek says if you consider a waterfall as a single drop waterfall, then it is clearly not the highest in Indonesia. For a single drop, like Piso is 120 meters top to bottom, like a single drop. And then DeepSeek says Ponot is somewhere between 80 and 100 meters single drop. But it has like 3 different levels. But most of the claims online say that this one, Ponot, is 250 meters high. But that seems impossible because, as I said, Piso, which I know, which I visited myself, is 120 meters high. And there's no way this one is double the height of Piso. But anyway, those are just numbers, I suppose. And we're on the main road now. This is Sigura-gura Road. And if you continue in this direction up Sigura-gura, it goes to Porsay, I think, the name of the town, right on the edge of Lake Toba, up there. I think it's like 35 kilometers from here to get up to Lake Toba, something like that. And from here, the waterfall, I think it's like 2 kilometers, 3 kilometers on this road to the Turnoff, and then another 2 kilometers down the countryside road to get to the base of the waterfall. But, yeah, here we are. Gonna get a nice view of the town from here. Gonna stop for a second and look backwards. Yeah, my hotel is down here in the river valley. Something else, like I was watching, as I said, the video from the Lost Boys about this waterfall, and they interviewed the owner, or not the owner, but someone who works for or the owner for that whitewater rafting company, and they included an interview about the dam, and they put really sad music behind it, and the basic point was, isn't modern industry terrible, how it's destroying the natural environment? And anyway, that the guy with the Asahan rafting company, over and over in the interview, he said that the dam was going to make the river disappear. The river was going to be gone. And then that's why it was so sad that they put this dam in place, and now the river is gone forever. That's what he said. But of course, as you can see all around me, that isn't true at all. In fact, I didn't know this. That wasn't even the first dam. There were already 2 dams on the river controlling the water flow. And this new one was just the 3rd one. And it diverts water in a tunnel through this mountain, I think, on my right. And then it rejoins the river down below somewhere. And it reduced the water flow up here, where they have the professional whitewater rafting, like the most extreme whitewater was up here. That isn't as extreme anymore because a lot of the water has been diverted. But the river itself is still there. Like in the interview, he implied heavily, or outright said, that the dam was going to make the river disappear, it was going to destroy the river. But no, all it did was lower the water level in the upper reaches of the whitewater rafting section. But yeah, I guess it sounds a lot better to make a dramatic story about how a dam is going to completely destroy a river. Of course, I don't know really what the effect was before and after the construction of this new dam. So there's an opening at the side of the road here, and I'm right beside another kind of dam. Yeah, I can't really get solid information about what's going on here. Like I said, I found out eventually there are 3 dams. The man told me the other day 2 of them are for producing electricity, and one of them, he said, is for making aluminum. But I'm assuming that means they make electricity and they use all that electricity in their aluminum manufacturing facility. So they basically make their own electricity inside their aluminum factory. But I don't really know. But anyway, there's one right here, and I don't know which one this is. You can see water runoff here, flowing down, joining the Asahan River. And there's the Ponot Waterfall over there. You can see it. Yeah. Anyway, I'll be cycling by that one in a minute or 2. Maybe there'll be a name and I can figure out what the name of it is. Oh. These are always the best things on mountain roads. You often find, in Sumatra anyway, you find these water hoses, and they set them up where you can, I think people drink this water, it'll be like fresh drinking water. But for me, it's just a chance to cool down a bit. Yeah, it's a nice one. They have a nice little a tub. They built a cement stone tub here. On a really hot day, you could just strip down and take a nice bath here, but it's still pretty early in the morning. And I've only cycled a few kilometers to get here, so I'm not overheating badly or anything like that. And for me to take a dunk my head in there, then I got to strip off all of my electronics. So I always have like a cost benefit analysis. Do I want to remove all my microphones and cords and batteries and GoPros, and of course don't forget about your smartphone. Actually, maybe I will take a picture of this. Slowly climbing. It's a beautiful road. I mean, it was recently paved, perfect condition, really nice gradual climb. It's not like some of the super steep stuff that I've seen around Sumatra and other places. This is a really gentle slope. You just put it down in first gear and just slowly work your way up. It's really, really nice. And my hotel, and actually right down there, that's the village where the two bridges, the Dutch bridge, is located. And then around that corner, going down the river valley, that's where my hotel is right now. And can't see it anymore, but the waterfall is straight ahead of me in that direction. And I should be getting close to the Turnoff. So this is Segura Road that I'm on right now. And then to get to the waterfall, I have to turn left onto a local road to get to the base. And I think it's just around the corner, maybe half a kilometer ahead. Yeah, gorgeous ride. I haven't heard any of the hooting gibbons on this entire ride, which is disappointing. Haven't really seen any macaques either, which is surprising. You'd think that in terrain like this, they would eventually settle down near the road, hoping that people would feed them. But I guess local people here maybe don't feed them. If you take the main road from Parapat to Lake Toba, I mean from like Sientar to Parapat on the shore of Lake Toba, I've done that before on my bicycle, and there were lots and lots of macaques on the road. But I guess it's a much busier road than this one, so a lot more people toss them bananas and other food items. Maybe they just don't do that here. Yeah, I think I remember this from Google Maps. I went down to Street View and I saw a cluster of buildings like this, and then right past the buildings was the Turnoff. So I think I leave the main road right here. Yeah, here it is. This is the intersection. So from here to Posea is 39 kilometers. That would be a lot of climbing to get up there. And then here, Wisata Alam Air Terjun Ponot. 1 kilometer. Oh, I thought it was a lot further on this side road. Yeah, on another topic, one of my patrons on Patreon sent me a link to a really interesting video. I think it's an American YouTube channel by a guy who is sailing around the world. And I think the channel, oh boy, like Sailing Triteia or something like that. The name of his boat is Triteia, something like that. And I guess he has been in and out of Indonesia a lot. I don't know his full history because this is the only video of his that I've seen. But his most recent video had a title something like Trouble with Indonesian Immigration and I have to leave the country right away. So I guess he was trying to get a visa extension, and he doesn't give full details, but I'm assuming he got a regular, even though he's traveling on a yacht, his own, not a yacht, it's a private sailboat. Oh, there's the waterfall, by the way, straight ahead. I wonder if that very top section is considered one of the levels. So that level, because it hits, right? Comes down and it hits, and then there's another drop, and then down at the base there's another drop. So maybe those are the 3 levels. But anyway, I'm assuming that like this guy, he's on his own sailboat by himself. Man, he's a tough cookie doing what he's doing. I really can't imagine doing what he's doing. But I guess he was in Indonesia, and I assume he just got a regular 30-day e-visa online, because he applied for his visa online. And then he wanted to get a 30-day extension, just like I got. And then he couldn't get it. He actually, it's a complicated story where he applied online, his application was approved, but then somehow they wouldn't let him pay online. He had to go to a bank, they said, which is news to me. The new system, you don't go to a bank, you just pay with a credit card online. And the new system means you also have to visit an immigration office in person. So he applied online. It was approved online. I don't know how it could be approved without him paying for it. So that confuses me as well. But he says it was approved, but he couldn't pay for it. And then he had to go to an immigration office. And when he got there, they told him, no, they can't do it at that immigration office. He has to go to a completely different one, which is like 1,000 kilometers away. Hello. Hello. Selamat pagi. Selamat pagi. Selamat siang. Okay, siang. Ah, selamat siang. Yeah, I always get the time of day wrong. She's saying this isn't pagi anymore. This is siam. I guess 10 o'clock in the morning. It already isn't morning. It's midday. Okay. Selamat siam. But I think what happened was when you apply for your visa online, you have to put in your address in Indonesia, and you give them the name of your hotel where you arrive. And then you travel around the country, and when you apply for your visa extension, your application for the extension automatically populates the address field with the address of where you arrived. And if you leave that and you don't change it, then you have to go all the way back to that city to visit the immigration office in that city. So what you have to be very careful when you apply for your 30-day visa extension. Change the address to your new current address. And then the computer system automatically says, okay, you're here, now you must go to this nearest immigration office. But if you don't change the address, you've got to go all the way back to where you entered the country. And his story wasn't 100% clear to me, but it sounded like that's what they were telling him, that you have to go all the way back to where you entered Indonesia officially and get your picture taken at that immigration office. We can't do it for you here. And he tried to get around that, but they wouldn't budge. So basically he had like 2 days to sail out of Indonesia. And it turned out that was a big problem, because leaving a country by boat, your own boat, is quite complicated, I guess. You've got to go to 4 or 5 different offices in a certain order, because you need clearance, customs clearance, you need a quarantine inspection. They have to come on board your boat and inspect it. You've got to go to immigration, then you've got to go somewhere else, then you've got to go back to immigration, and you're bringing papers from one office to the next. And then every single office, of course, is telling you something different, saying, oh, no, you don't go here next, you go there first, then you come back here, then you go there. But when you go there, they tell you, no, you go there first, and then you come here. So he got caught into this giant system. And in the middle of all of that, I guess he was so flustered as anybody would be, he lost his wallet. He doesn't know exactly what happened, but he had rented a scooter to do all of this, and then he wanted to give the guy a tip or something, and he tried to get his wallet, and his wallet was gone. So now he had to turn around and go looking, retrace his steps on his scooter, go to as many places as he could think of, trying to find, you know, where his wallet might be, and couldn't find it. So then he had to cancel his credit cards, cancel his bank cards. It's like, oh, I mean, I watch one of those videos. There's a lot of them online. I posted my own videos when something goes wrong with immigration, and then you post a video saying, oh, nightmare getting my visa in Indonesia. But every time I watch one of those videos, I get stressed out internally because I'm living the experience through his eyes. And of course, I've had my own little problems with immigration here in Indonesia. Little thing like the last time I tried to do it in Bukit Tinggi, I tried to extend my my tourist visa, which should have been an automatic process. Hello.
How are you?
I'm fine. How are you? Good, good, good. Thank you. And then when I went to the immigration office in Bukit Tinggi, they told me, oh, for this you have to get a sponsor. They were not treating it like a tourist visa. They were treating it like a different type of visa. Oh, you got to get a local sponsor to fill out forms and come in for an interview. And it turned into a big problem for me. So that was my big Indonesian nightmare story. But my story pales in comparison to what this poor guy went through. But based on the information in the video, I think he created his own problem, that he made a mistake. He didn't know that on the extension application form, you have to update your address to your current address. And I guess he didn't know he had to do that. Seems unlikely though, because he's been in and out of Indonesia a lot. This wouldn't have been the first time that he's done this. So you'd think he'd have figured it all out, but yeah. It's a little restaurant there. Rumah makan. I think this is the official entrance to the base of the waterfall. Selamat datang wisata alam. I think wisata alam means tourist site or tourist attraction. Air terjun Ponot. And air means water, terjun waterfall, Ponot. All right. So this is the entrance. Ooh, I think it might be time to walk the bicycle. I don't need to, but I'm not in a hurry. I might as well stroll along the rest of the way. Not really sure where you park and then go on foot. Selamat siang. Mana? Selamat siang. I got it right that time, apparently. According to my Indonesian language podcast, Selamat pagi is the morning, and then you change to Selamat siang when morning is over and the full heat of the day has begun. So I guess that's kind of a judgment call. There's a gray area. Is it still pagi or is it now siang? But apparently it is siang. Yeah, on the approach road so far, yeah, you don't actually see the waterfall. It's probably, yeah, it's around the corner up ahead. Looks like there's a bit of a climb coming up. Pretty steep one too, by the looks of it. I remember the Lost Boys went for a swim. They're very smart YouTubers. They know that for a YouTube video, you have to dive into the pool at the base of the waterfall. Yeah, here's the road that I saw going up, but you don't go that direction. Hello. You go straight. There's a gate there. Well, I wasn't expecting this either. There's quite an industrial site here. Another dam of some kind right below these waterfalls. You can see the water flowing here into a big pool over there, and a whole bunch of spillways and gates, and exactly what's going on here I couldn't tell you. Maybe this is the aluminum factory and they're making, this must be one of the dams. But again, I don't know exactly how all of this works, where the water comes in and where it goes out. There must be a giant pipe going underground feeding into here, and maybe all these are turbines. No idea. I don't know the name of it. I don't know where we are. Huh. Yeah, very big set here, big setup here. Going around a corner here, and we should start seeing the waterfall, but to be honest, all of the hydro generating stuff is making a bigger impression than the waterfall itself. Or maybe I missed the road to the waterfall? Where the heck am I? Oh no, I think it's still up ahead. But yeah, look at the size of this operation here. Yeah, I wish I knew which dam this was. New one, old one? I think it's one of the old ones, but exactly what it is, I have no idea. Huge. Sort of dominating the whole landscape here. It's sort of overwhelming the waterfall itself as an attraction. Man, some sort of a switching yard for transferring the power. I always end up thinking about, like, the average human being like me, how little we know about how the world actually works. Of course, we all use electricity. I'm constantly powering up my batteries, but I haven't got a clue how anything really works and what's happening behind the scenes. And you see something like this massive, power distribution center, whatever's going on in there. That's a complete mystery to me. But without that, I wouldn't be able to charge my GoPro batteries. This is where the electricity comes from. And if every other human being in the world disappeared tonight, tomorrow morning I'd have no electricity and I wouldn't know how to turn this on. I don't know how it works. And the water that ends up in the taps comes to my bathroom. I don't know where that water comes from, how it's filtered, how it's delivered. Yeah. I often think about, like, when I go to museums, and a good natural history museum will start back in, the Bronze Age or the Stone Age, and you're supposed to marvel at how untechnological or how primitive these people were. And yet, heck, if they're making bronze, they're way ahead of me. I don't know how to make bronze. Stick me onto an empty planet, come back in 50 years, you think I've invented bronze and I've got copper wires and hydroelectric plants and lithium-ion batteries? No, I'm going to be cowering underneath a little hut that I made out of sticks and some wide banana leaves or something. That's going to be the extent of my technological achievements, Yeah, this is a very different experience from what I was expecting. Like the whole approach to the waterfalls, going by this massive generating station, and Huh. I keep doubting that the waterfall is over here, but it must be like right around the corner. Oh yeah, there's another gateway up ahead. And finally arrived. I'm getting glimpses of the waterfall around the corner. Hello. And the official gateway. Selamat siang. And there we are. There's the waterfall. Air Terjun Ponot. And I wonder if this is all the water that's going through this generating station. It doesn't seem like that's nearly enough. They must be getting more water through a tunnel that's going underneath this hill here. There's no way that's enough water to drive those turbines, I don't think. But yeah, it's all a little bit mysterious. Hello. I'm fine, thank you. How are you?
What's my name?
Douglas.
Okay, Douglas.
Douglas.
From
Canada.
Oh, Canada. Canada, Canada, from Canada. Yeah. Sini, sir.
Yeah.
Sir.
Nice to meet you. My name is Douglas. Douglas, yeah.
Where are you from?
I'm from Canada.
Canada. This is the bikes.
You look like a special group with all your computers.
This focus, this group discussion.
Are you like a student tourism group or something?
No, we are best one.
Best one?
Scholarship.
Oh, okay.
College.
Ah. But why do you need computers here? What are you doing?
Because we have a project in this place.
I see. Okay.
Have you been to Ponot before?
No. It's my first time. Yeah.
Tell him about the first time you come to Ponot today.
Well, so far I'm kind of surprised because I was only thinking about nature, waterfalls, trees, cliffs. But when you come here, you pass so many like electrical stations, the dams, electric generation, so you see that as well. So it's kind of a surprise. But no, it's nice. I thought I had to go on the main road, like Segura-Gura.
Yeah, Segura-Gura.
So I thought I had to go all the way up there, but you don't. You go down this small road, so that was a surprise too. But I haven't seen the waterfall yet, so I just got here. Yeah. There are the waterfalls. Oh yeah, I think I would call that 3 levels. Small one at the top, then the main one, and then it hits a pool, and then there's another one here. And yeah, I'm not sure how high up you can climb. You can probably just get to the pool there at the bottom. There's a lot of little shops down here selling drinks, cold drinks, snacks, food, I guess, yeah. Hello. I keep waiting for someone to ask me to pay for a ticket or entrance fee or parking fee, but so far nothing. At least I thought there'd be a parking fee. Maybe they just didn't see me. I'll pay on the way out. Seems to be no ticket, at least to get this far. There was a group of students at the entrance there, invited me over just to say hi. They had a whole bunch of laptops set up, working on some kind of a project, but I couldn't figure out who they were or what they were working on exactly. This is nice. Really nice pool here. And then climbing up course, the closer you get, the more impressive it becomes. A little bit of a horseshoe cliff, smaller waterfall over there, one or two of them. Oh, hello. Hey, look at that, a little swimming pool here. Almost losing my balance as I'm trying to aim the GoPro up there. Should probably film and then walk. Don't try to film and walk at the same time. So, there's a beautiful tree. I thought this was going to be another pool up here, but it's just a round platform. And as you get closer and closer, you start to feel a little bit of the mist. When I went to the base of Piso waterfall, even if I was this close to it, I'd just be blasted in the face with water, like spray from the base. I remember it being much more powerful. The falling water actually created a wind at the base of that waterfall. This one doesn't seem to be hitting with quite as much force, but I'm starting to feel the mist. I'm gonna have to change over to a waterproof GoPro pretty soon. Yeah, there's no stairs or anything, so you've got to make your way through this boulder pile. That's the one thing that makes me nervous about going into a pool at the base of a waterfall. Like all of these rocks here, they would have fallen down through that waterfall at one time or another. So can you imagine a rock, even a small one, like a 1 pound rock, coming loose in the river up there, and then it falls in the water? Yeah, that'll give you a real crack on the head. That's the one thing I think about when I come to waterfalls. Quite the pool there. Pretty much down at the base. Yeah, this is a real tough pool to get into. All around the bottom, slippery rocks, steep slopes. I mean, if you really wanted to get in there, you could. Maybe down there, that'd be so dangerous though. I could get in over here, but also equally dangerous. And with all my camera gear and I don't know. I don't think it's worth the effort really to try to get in there for a swim. Pretty impressive standing right here anyway. Look at that. So I did not go in for a swim there because I have my bag with me, all my valuables in it. I didn't know how to keep it safe or keep it dry. It was really risky going into that pool, but it was nice and cool around the base. You really feel it when you leave, because when you leave, suddenly the heat sets back in again. You don't have the wind anymore, you don't have the mist. But I've been clambering around looking for another viewpoint. This is quite a nice one. This is where the river water comes away from the base of the pool. And then you can see it all the way up there to the top. Yeah, beautiful spot.
right now we meet someone special beside us. Hi guys.
Hello.
Hi guys. Can you introduce yourself?
Sure. My name is Douglas. I'm from Canada, and I'm just a tourist in Sumatra. Came here just to travel around.
Yeah.
Okay, Mr. Can you repeat your name?
My name is Douglas.
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 Can I take your Douglas, Mr. Douglas?
Sure, that works. Okay.
Okay, Mr. Douglas, I introduce myself. My name is Agustina. Just now. we are-
Augustina?
Yes.
Augustina.
Okay.
Nice to meet you.
Okay, nice to meet you too. So we are a college student from Medan, if you know.
Okay, yeah. I've been to Medan.
Yes. Nah. So we come to here to make a project from our scholarship from Inalum.
Okay. Is that it's a school?
It's like
A college?
yes, it's like a college.
College, okay.
Okay, Mister. Maybe I wanna to ask you about something about
Okay.
this Ponot. Can we know from where the Mister can recommendation to come here about Ponot?
I was just riding my bicycle around here, and I went to a restaurant to have lunch, and a man there asked me, "Have you been to Ponot yet?" And then I said, "What is Ponot?" I never heard of it before. And he said, and then he told me it's a waterfall and I should come see it.
It's meaning Mr. Douglas is the first time to come to Ponot.
Yeah, it's the first time to come here. It's the first time I heard of it. I never heard of this waterfall before.
Beware of it. Do you know about Ponot? Beware of.
No, I never knew anything about it.
Oh,
No.
just now.
Just now, yeah.
So, what your feeling about when you come to this place?
What's your reaction?
My reaction, it's more interesting than I expected. And when you try to go to the base of it, like walking through these rocks, that's very tricky.
Yeah.
It's very, very rough.
Yeah, right.
So it's kind of, for me, it's an interesting combination because you have the water pool down here, kind of easy to get to, and then you have a very rugged, very natural base here. So it makes it very beautiful. But I wanted to go for a swim in the pool, and you can't. It's too, the rocks are too slippery. But yeah, it's very beautiful, very beautiful.
For the information that Ponot is the waterfall highest in Indonesia.
Okay.
It's the highest in Indonesia.
The highest in
Yes.
Indonesia.
Yes.
Do you know how high it is? How many meters?
So, I don't know, bro. I don't know, but
Okay.
to take 200 and
Yeah, maybe.
More than 200 meters.
like that.
Okay.
Okay, Mister, maybe can we collaborate about to take
Your
our-
Instagram?
to share your Instagram so we can take your Instagram and we maybe
Collaborator.
to
We are a collaborator in Instagram.
Okay.
And give your Instagram with me.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, it's the same as my YouTube channel. The little the card that I showed you, the same name,
Yeah.
Planet Dog.
okay.
Yeah.
Your Instagram, Mister?
Yeah, you can see it on the card right there. That's the name, Planet Dog.
Okay.
Same on YouTube, on Instagram.
Okay. We follow you.
Okay,
later.
sounds good.
Ah.
Thank you.
A little question more, maybe. Can you can you take a photo?
Sure, of course.
Yeah.
I think you can see, maybe you can see some of the waterfall behind me as I'm leaving. The group that I was chatting with, they're still there. It's very difficult, I find, for me to get information about people, what they're doing, who they are. Because when I met that group, you know, they were clearly working on something. I just assumed they were students working on a school project or something like that. And I asked lots of questions, but nothing that they said was really getting through to my brain. But then towards the end, I slowly started to understand that they weren't going to a school per se, but they were interns for this big local aluminum company. And I think I mentioned one of the dams here is connected with an aluminum manufacturer. And that's, I believe, who they were connected with. And then why as part of their project, they would interview someone like me. I don't know. I just assumed they were some sort of a tourism class, and then they see a foreigner and they want to ask questions about tourism and what do you think of Indonesia and how did you learn about these waterfalls and what do you think of the waterfalls, stuff like that. But then later on they said their project is about opening a shop, like a little shop, I believe here at the waterfall, for selling drinks and food and things like that. And they're doing a little group project about setting up their own small business, maybe. Like I said, I could ask 100 questions, and at the end, I don't think I wouldn't really understand what they were doing exactly. But anyway, very nice people. I felt bad though, because things like this happen all the time too, where I met them and then they said something about, would you like us to go with you to the waterfall and we can tell you all about Ponot Waterfall? And I kind of backed away from that, like, no, it's okay, I'm fine going up there by myself. I knew I wanted to shoot video, and I don't generally have the energy level required to be with a rambunctious group of Indonesians. They're all much more high energy than I am. So it's always a mismatch in terms of our energy levels. So I just kind of said, oh, it's okay. I don't need to know anything about the waterfalls that I don't already know. But then a group of them came up with me. Oh, something just bit me. Anyway, and they were sort of walking behind me. So I wasn't quite sure whether they thought they were with me or not with me. I didn't know. But anyway, they were all sort of behind me, and then I went to the waterfall, and I spent a lot of time roaming around on the rocks, trying to get as close as I can to the base and taking pictures and taking video, and went walking along the river. And I just basically took my time, did everything I wanted to do. And then as I was leaving, they were all still there. And I guess they were waiting for me this whole time, because they wanted to do that little interview. And I was like, oh, I didn't know that's what you were waiting for. So I mean, had I known they just wanted to go with me to that point and then do a little interview about me and what I think of the waterfalls, well, sure, I could have done that right away. They didn't have to wait for me. But as I said, the communication is always so difficult when it comes to those situations. But yeah. And their project, their internship, I guess, is 6 days long. So they're staying here most of the day, and then they're driving back up somewhere around Belige, and then they're staying in some kind of a lodging supplied by this aluminum company. Again, it'd be very difficult to figure out all the ins and outs. Stopped back there for a cold drink, which was really nice. From the waterfall access road to here, like all the way to here, it was all downhill the whole way to get to this point. And then from here back to my hotel is kind of a mixture of uphill, downhill, uphill, downhill. Kind of a roller coaster to get from here back again. Yeah, I had one little technology disaster again. I've got to get this fixed. I keep thinking I fixed it, and then it still doesn't work. My Rode Wireless Go receiver is attached to my GoPro Media Mod, and if I go over a really bumpy road for a long time, it starts to work itself loose. And then when I hit a big bump and I'm not paying attention, it can go flying, and then the cord disconnects, and then my receiver goes banging down the road. It happened again this time. And I thought I had rigged up a system that would hold it in place and it wouldn't come loose, but it didn't work. So I have to come up with something else. Just apply like a ton of Velcro and rubber bands or something. I got to come up with something, or else I'm gonna, one of these times is gonna be one time too many and my receiver will stop working. But pretty durable, to be honest. It's hit the road 3 times, I think, maybe 4 times it's come loose and went banging and crashing down the pavement. And I think a motorcycle ran over it this time. There was a motorcycle right behind me, and I quickly, as soon as the receiver fell off, I quickly went to the side of the road, parked my bike, and ran back to get it. And I wasn't looking at the time, but then I heard a click click, and I looked up and a motorcycle just went by, and I think that click click was it running over the microphone receiver. But survived. I think it survived that. If you can hear my voice, it survived. So I'm gonna have to come up with some kind of a solution here. And while I was sitting there having a cold drink, I just fired up my phone. I was talking earlier about this sailor from America. His name is James, I think. I think he replies to his comments on his YouTube channel as James Sailor or something like that. But the name of the channel right now is Sailing Triteia, or Triteia, the name of his boat. But I was talking about how he had trouble getting a visa extension in Indonesia, and he posted a video about it. And he was very calm about it, very level-headed. There was nothing very emotional or negative or hostile about his video. He was just telling the story the way that I would. He wasn't pleased, of course, because he in fact went to the trouble of applying for the visa extension. It was approved, he said, and he paid for it. That was all fine. The whole thing was done. But then they have this new system where you have to go to an immigration office in person, physically go there so they can take your picture, and you have to do that in person. And in his case, they wanted him to go all the way back to the port where he arrived in Indonesia to do that. They wouldn't do it at that Indonesian immigration office, and that annoyed him, understandably so. Even if it was his mistake in not filling out the form properly, there's no way he could know the way the system works. Nobody without experience would know. So it's understandable. He can be forgiven for not knowing he had to update his address. But anyway, the point I wanted to make now is that while I was having a drink there, I went through the comments, and comments to a video like that can be a mixed bag, to put it mildly. People expressing opinions, hello, when they have no idea what they're talking about, like no clue at all. So it's like 25% of the comments were telling him, oh, you should just pull up anchor and leave. What are they going to do? Arrest you? And every single comment, he has to inform these people, yeah, you can't do that. As a sailor, if he arrives at a new port, they won't let him dock unless he shows them clearance papers from the last country. Like, you're not getting into a new country without your clearance from the previous country. That's just the way sailing works, and it makes sense. But everybody in the comments was like, oh, why even bother extending your visa? Why worry about it? Just pull up the anchor and go. You've got a boat. And he has to explain to all these people patiently, one by one, no, you can't do that. And maybe Another 25% of the comments were all from people who think they know how the world works. And they're usually people that have a very cynical kind of negative attitude towards a lot of things. And they all said, oh, those immigration officers, they were all corrupt. And all you needed to do was pay them a bribe. That's what they were waiting for. They were making all these problems for you. And then if you just slid them a brown paper envelope stuffed with cash, all the problems would magically disappear. There's comment after comment after comment saying that. And people have said the same thing to me many, many times in my life. And I'm the one who's in those situations, and I can tell you with some confidence that no. In these situations where there's a paperwork issue at an immigration office, they're not trying to get a bribe out of you. Hello. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Good, good. I just went to Ponot.
Oh, Ponot Waterfall.
Yeah, just to take a look.
Yeah.
It was nice.
Yes, nice. Yeah, it's small.
Yeah, I remember the Lost Boys, when they went there, they went in swimming.
Yeah.
But I didn't try. The rocks were so slippery. And I have all of my cameras and all of my gear. Where do I put it? It gets wet. And so I thought, I'm not going to bother. So I didn't go swimming. But yeah, last night I watched their video with you and the rafting and everything. Yeah, they do a good job with their videos. They're very entertaining, fast-paced videos, you know, the Lost Boys. And they interviewed you.
Yeah, they interview me.
Yeah, you did a good job telling the story. Yeah. Yep.
So you just go to Ponot Waterfall?
That's all, yeah. Just riding my bike and there. And I met some young people there. They're doing some kind of a project. So they want to interview me about tourism, about anything. And took lots of pictures with people, you know, selfies, lots of selfies. So. And I stopped for some cold drinks here and there. But yeah, even to get there on the bike, you know, it's not so easy. You got to go up. And then the road down is very rough. So I usually just walk the bike.
Oh, okay.
Because if I ride it, it's just like, it's too much. There's no suspension. So. Just setting up for a feast here. I stopped to chat with the man from the Asahan Rafting Company. That was very nice. I took a seat for a while and talked his ear off, and then got back on my bike, jumped ahead along the road. I rode my bike back to my hotel, and then about half a kilometer past it or so, going up the hill, here is this little roadside eatery. This is where I first stopped when I came here, and some young guys here told me about this hotel. It was so amazing that I found that place. It worked out so well. And I came back here the other day to have lunch, and I'm here for lunch again. There it is, starting to arrive. I got this like fried noodles, Indomie with egg, and then I got the bakso pento again, and then I ordered 2 fruit juices, one orange, and then another one. There was another fruit out there. And I displayed my fruit ignorance again, because I'm looking at the fruit. I don't know what it is. I don't know whether you can make fruit juice out of it. Maybe you're just supposed to buy it and eat it. I'm just totally at a loss. So I'm trying to ask them, like, what is this fruit? And then, of course, they tell me the name in Indonesian, and I'm no further ahead because I still don't know what it is. I just don't recognize fruit. And then I finally asked, yeah, can you make juice out of this one too? And I assumed if they couldn't, they would tell me that they couldn't. So I think they're busy making it now. Oh, this is going to be so good. I haven't had enough to drink today. I didn't drink enough. I drank 2 bottles of water when I was at the waterfall, but 2 smallish bottles. Oh, so good. Cold drinks, man. Nothing. I think that's my other juice drink. My second fruit drink has arrived. There's the coloring of it. And I have no idea if I'm going to be able to tell you what fruit it is. I just have zero idea. Let's find out. I mean, I want to say mango, but maybe it's like a green mango, like a little bit tart than the normal mango that I'm used to. It's very good though. Whatever it is, whatever mystery fruit that is.